Welcome back everyone to another Nuevo Pokemon League NBL Wi-Fi battle. We are in the third week of the NBL and I'll be showcasing one of the matches of the week. This match takes the spot of number 1 best match of the week. But before we get into the match, a little history about our two combatants squaring off from within the league and also based on their NBL score. So we have Ricky, who is formerly a Red District Gym Leader. Technically still is Red District Gym Leader, just needs to be switched back into his position. He is one of the tougher combatants within the Nuevo League, and generally just is an all-around tough guy, I guess you could say. Then we have Silver, or also known as Simon. Simon is actually the last champion of the NBL in last season. He took the crown and became crowned the GMB for that season, or Grandmaster Battler, also known as the Pokemon Master within Nuevo Pokemon League. Okay. Anyway, now before we get started, I'm going to do a quick analysis of the team and also explain why we chose this match to be featured for Battle of the Week. So anyway, looking at Ricky's team, we have the Mega-Lopunny, we have the Dragonite, the Rotom, the Chandelier, the Ferrothorn, and the Conflatable. A pretty standard team. Obviously, the Lopunny is going to be doing heavy lifting in terms of the attack. Rotom's probably going to be used as more like a stasis giver. Ferrothorn's obviously going to be setting up hazards. Conflatable for possibly sweeping. Chandelier for special attacking, and lastly Dragonite for quite a few things, and being also very tanky. Then we look at Simon's team, which he uses quite a lot of weird Pokemon that we don't see every day. We see the Granbull, which is obviously going to be used for intimidating, and also with his new Fairy typing, it's actually a pretty viable threat. Then we have our Gliscor, which is obviously a returning component to the NBL. We got a Charizard, which can be an X or a Y, obviously. We got the Mantine, which has a high special defense and also has the flying typing with the move Defog in case it wants to remove hazards. You got the Zoroark, the dark type with the Night Daze that will lower accuracy and also deal a pretty decent amount of special attack power. And then our Magnezone, which obviously is going to be dealing special attacks. Okay, anyway, without further ado, let's just hop right into this match, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as we did. Okay, so Simon's going to lead out with his Magnezone, his first Pokemon, and then Ricky's going to lead out with his Lopunny. Obviously going straight in for the Mega, Ricky's going to go straight out for his Fake Out attack to get the flinch off on this Magnezone and break possibly a Sash if it does have one. That being said, he goes in for the high jump kick and is able to KO this Magnezone no problem first turn, or second turn. Next comes in your ex-girlfriend, the Granbull, to get the Intimidate on the Mega-Lopunny. Obviously not wanting to be intimidated, Ricky's going to switch out his Mega-Lopunny. He then goes into the Ferrothorn, obviously probably to set up hazards on this thing. Simon does switch out here, knowing that he's not going to be able to damage this thing too much, and does go into his Gliscor. Anyway, with the Toxic Orb set off on his Gliscor, he's going to switch back into his Granbull. Ferrothorn's going to set up his Stealth Rocks no problem this turn, and then it's going to retreat from this Granbull. I'm not sure if Ricky predicted what the Granbull was going to do, but he does switch into his Chandelier, and the Granbull does go for the Flamethrower. I'm not sure if he actually predicted the Flamethrower or if he predicted like a normal move or something like that, but it does work in his favor, and he is able to get off a boosted Heat Wave. So here we got the surprise, which is going to be his. Actually, he was using a Zoroark with Flamethrower. He's able to knock out the Chandelier in one hit from the Dark Stab attack, and then Mega-Lopunny returns to the field to try to do as much damage to Surprise as possible. Knowing that he can't handle the Mega-Lopunny, he switches back into the Granbull to get the Intimidate. And the Mega-Lopunny is going to go for another fake out. So with this, Ricky is going to decide to switch into his Caflable to take this close combat like a champion. With the Key Berry, Caflable raises his defenses and then starts going for the Calm Minds. This is a very bad position for Silver right now. Anyway, with that being said, he's going to go for the Play Rough. I guess he expected to do a lot more, and then he's just going to retreat out of there and go into his Fish Sticks. Caflable's going to go for the Softboard and get the hill off. And here Fish Sticks is going to go for his Defog, I believe. And clear those Stealth Rocks off the side of the field. Anyway, Caflable's going to use his Moonblast. Not going to do much damage to this insanely defensive tank. And Fish Sticks is going to retreat out of there. Anyway, switching back into Surprise. Simon here, I believe, is only trying to get the accuracy drop from the Night Days because there's nothing Zoroark is going to be able to do. Also, he does do the taunt, obviously, which is going to keep Caflable from boosting for the next few turns. But he's going to go for the Night Days to get the accuracy drop. That being said, Caflable obviously is forced to use Moonblast and does take out Zoroark no problem. So here comes in Smog. Smog is going to use Dragon Dance to start boosting up. Obviously not wanting to Mega yet because Caflable can do a ton more damage if he does go for the Mega Evolution from the flip. Caflable's going to go for the Flamethrower for some reason. I'm assuming that Ricky thought it was going to be a Mega Y version and was going to have a drop ability to boost the Flamethrower, but that did not happen. And he goes for a second Dragon Dance, boosting up. So now he tried the Moonblast. It does miss thanks to the Night Days, and then he can get this Roost off pretty easily. Anyway, Caflable's going to go for the Moonblast. It's not going to do as much as he would want it to do, and Smog's going to go for another Roost. I guess was trying to see how much damage the Moonblast would do after all the Calm Mind boosts. Caflable's going to go for another Moonblast and miss, and then Simon's going to take this opportunity to Mega Evolve his Charizard to Mega X. With 2 Dragon Dance set up, Charizard is clearly going to be able to sweep a ton of things and goes for the Flare Blitz, which kills the Caflable, or doesn't kill the Caflable. Almost kills the Caflable. Surprisingly. But with another Flare Blitz, Caflable finally goes down. This thing is chunky as hell. Anyway, Ricky's going to switch into his Lopunny. He goes for the Fake Out to get a little bit of damage off on this Charizard X. Unfortunately, Lopunny is not going to be able to outspeed because Charizard X is double Dragon Danced right now. So anyway, Ricky's going to switch into his Ferrothorn next, and Charizard is going to go for the Dragon Claw. And it's going to take a pretty big chunk of damage from the Iron Borbs and also the Rocky Helm. Almost enough to knock it out. Anyway, Charizard X is going to go for another Roost. And Ricky is really playing a defensive field right now. Insanely defensive field. Because this Charizard X is not being allowed to do what it's meant to do, which is to sweep this team away. So it's really interesting how he's able to put up these walls and barriers to stop this thing from getting through. Anyway, Smog is going to go for another Dragon Claw. Knock this Rotom out, no problem. Then Lopunny's going to come back out for another Fake Out against this guy. Now, I like how Ricky really doesn't seem to be giving up. He really has all intentions on winning this battle. It seems like, because all these switches are really smart plays. The Ferrothorn is able to take this Flare Blitz and give some damage back, obviously, but at the expense of his own, longevity, and it is knocked out pretty easily. But thanks to that Flare Blitz plus the Rocky Helm and the Iron Borbs, he is in KOing range from an extreme speed from his Dragonite. And this is where the battle is completely turned upside down. So now that Dragonite is out, he is able to return the favor from what Charizard X was doing and begin Dragon Dancing. Glitter goes for the knockoff. It barely does anything against the Marvel Scale. And it's only weakness policy, so you know that this Dragonite is meant for sweeping. That being said, Silver decides to go into his Grand Bull to get the Intimidate off on this Dragonite. Dolomite is going to use another Dragon Dance, trying to get the sweeping potential. But since it has been intimidated down, it's only +1 when it uses its extreme speed. And your ex-girlfriend barely survives as it goes for a play rough and KOs his Dragonite, thanks to the Marvel Scale being broken. So this is a really intense match at this point. Anyway, Ricky's going to go into his Lopunny again, and it's going to use the Fake Out, I believe, which is always a safe play. Here I believe Simon was just trying to get the Stealth Rocks off the side of the field, which may or may not have helped later on, but he sets up to protect. I'm assuming he was just, expecting the high jump kick, which does not happen. Instead, Ricky does go for the safe play and does do the return, and is able to knock out this Mantine next turn. With that being said, he returns his York's girlfriend to the field, and she dies horribly to the Stealth Rocks. And she put in a lot of work this match. It's going to be hard to pick an MVP for this match, to be honest. Anyways, Blitzcrank is going to set up the Protect. Obviously, Mega-Lopunny is going to go for the Ice Punch, which is going to be 4 times effective against this thing. Blitzcrank, being so as tanky as he is, does take the Ice Punch, but unfortunately is not going to be able to take the next one. And he's trying to kind of stall out right now, but unfortunately it's not really going to help, because this next Ice Punch is able to KO this Blitzcrank. With that being said, Ricky has defeated Silver, or Simon, for this week's match. So this was the #1 pick for match of the week. It was a really good match, we thought, as you can see. Kind of long, but it was really worth watching all the way through. Anyway, be sure to like, subscribe, and to comment below. Also share this video on Facebook and whatnot, or any other social media that you guys have. And again, thank you for watching. See you next time.